So hi, Revellers. Today I am talking to Josh Riddett of Easy Crypto Hunter. And Josh very kindly is coming to London to talk to Revellers about cryptocurrency mining. And we will be assembling on the 12th of June at the Prince Albert pub, just over the bridge from Chelsea, just over Albert Bridge. And you're very welcome to come along. There'll be drinks provided. All the details about the event are on this webpage where you're looking at this video or listening to this podcast. So Josh, tell us about you and what you do and why it's important to know about cryptocurrency mining.
Thanks, David. My name is Joshua Riddett, and I do indeed own one of the largest crypto companies in the space at the moment that make all this crazy mining hardware that people often ask many questions about, which hopefully will be revealed through this podcast as we go through. So it's pretty much, it does what it says on the tin. This whole kind of crypto stuff is very confusing for people. Many people have lots of questions. So obviously the company is called Easy Crypto for a reason. We like to try and use normal language for normal people and help demonstrate to individuals and business owners alike all over the UK and now across Europe just how easy this stuff is to get involved, what the advantages are for people's businesses, and how people can financially benefit from this new technology.
Fantastic. So perhaps you could just tell us about what crypto mining actually is and how it fits into the kind of crypto blockchain ecosystem. What's its role, as it were?
Yeah, well, I mean, fundamentally, the probably best place to start is, well, what the heck is blockchain? A lot of people have many misconceptions about it, think it's really super complicated, and that's really not the case. It's very simple stuff. If you imagine a block of information and they're all linked together, which would be the chain, so lots of blocks all linked together that forms a kind of imaginary chain, hence it being called blockchain. And effectively all it is just a new way of transmitting data. So whether that be finance in terms of something like Bitcoin, or whether it be medical records or supply chain information or logistics, there's many uses for different businesses in the ecosystem, just as there are for normal businesses today. We all send different bits of information from one company to another. And the best way to kind of illustrate what blockchain is if we think of the internet today, we have companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, etc. They're all commercial companies that offer completely unique services, but they all are built on top of the internet. So we wouldn't say that Facebook or Google or Amazon is the internet. We understand they're two separate things. Similarly, blockchain is the really cool underlying technology that all these other cryptocurrencies, aka crypto companies, are built on top of. So then we have things like Bitcoin or Ethereum or Tron or Ravencoin. And all of those also serve very unique, different business purposes that go way beyond that of simple forms of payment. Blockchain is simply a new methodology of data transfer, and the advantages are that it's decentralized. So the best way to understand this is to use a classic example. So if you imagine, say, Amazon is a centralized company. It owns its own computer servers. So even though we don't physically see them, it's very realistic to assume that they have warehouses and warehouses of computer servers that compute all the power to make your toothbrush turn up for next day delivery. Now, Amazon has the power, if it so wished, to take your money and just be like, whoops, sorry, never got your payment, because they control the entire ecosystem. They're a centralized organization. Not that it's in their interest to do that, but they could. The same way that a bank's central server system, where all your money is kept, is in a central place. So all it takes is a 12-year-old genius to hack an online bank. And of course, we've all experienced outages in online banking.
Yeah.
So the advantages of blockchain mean that I can pay you, for example, in terms of finance, I could send you some Bitcoin, and that requires no bank, no government, no external authority. It's the first time technology is enabled to people to transmit data, not just currency, but data. And instead of having a third party verify that, so in the interest of money, it would be a bank, In the interest of something like a medical data record, it would be an NHS server. In the interest of an asset transfer, it could be, say, a solicitor that's selling a house. So if I was buying a house off you, I would like to buy your house. Why do we need a solicitor? Because we need, as it stands today, a third party to verify that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, and I'm going to do what I'm going to say you're going to do. The whole premise of blockchain, if you boil it right down to the core, is we have digitized human trust. So the blockchain itself replaces the need for a third-party entity, be that a bank, be that a solicitor, be that a mortgage broker, be that any organizational structure which we currently have, which we trust to perform a third-party transaction between two reciprocating parties. That's why blockchain technology is so powerful, because its limits are pretty much as big as you can imagine. However, it's often talked about very narrowly in terms of Bitcoin, just because that's the biggest use of it that people understand.
Okay. So if you just try and visualize it, what is it? It's a piece of software that sits on a computer, correct?
It's a computer protocol, that sits underlying. So the same way we have the internet, the blockchain is a thing that works away in the background. And if I want to send some, let's keep it simple and use Bitcoin as the example. If I want to send you some Bitcoin, instead of the bank having to process that, and the way it would work would be, to give an example. So if I was to pay you directly, David, it would go from my bank account to it would go from my bank account to my bank to your bank account. There's a few steps in that process, and it requires most likely two different banks to connect and translate from one account to another. If I sent you some Bitcoin, I can pay you directly. Now, instead of it being verified by a third-party bank, it's verified by the blockchain, by the process of computers mining. And what mining is effectively is lots of computers spinning away, and it says, my account's real, your account's real, this amount has moved from here to here, and it then communicates that with the entire ecosystem of computers that are processing the algorithm on the blockchain. That record of me moving money is now public on the record for everyone to see, meaning that nothing can ever be lost or stolen or manipulated. And it enables me to be able to pay you directly without needing the trust of any government organization or third party whatsoever. So it's the first time that we've been able to do this. And effectively, we've now digitized this human trust. The machines don't get it wrong. And as a thank you for providing power to this service, that's how miners, people like our clients, are able to earn a thank you. Effectively, you get paid for renting out push computer power to make sure these transactions are verified correctly.
Okay, so that's fantastic, and you have the opportunity then as a Bitcoin miner to receive what, some bit of the coin. When I say Bitcoin, it could be whatever coin you're mining, but you receive
Yes.
a bit of coin, and that's, am I right, for generating the coin? But
well, no, for processing the transaction. Imagine it like a service fee.
So you get a bit of the coin for processing the transaction. So that's, if you like, when Jim sends John a bit of coin, a few tenths of a coin, that has to be processed. And in the same way that a bank will process a transaction, the blockchain processes that transaction, a bit like a bank would, except rather than paying a bank, you pay a miner, the mining system, a little bit of a fee. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, technically no, but for the argument of this conversation,
so,
yes.
So that people can understand conceptually in sort of normal human terms how it all works, would you say that's roughly right?
Yes. To the average person, that's basically what's going on. Okay. Technically, it works a little bit differently, but another conversation for another day.
Okay, big question. And I'm asking this because we understand this, and we can understand what's going to happen on the 12th of June, okay? I know that if you take, again, Bitcoin as the example, there are going to be one day 21 million Bitcoins produced, no more. And luckily, a Bitcoin can be divided up into lots of little bits as its value might increase.
Yep, into 8 units, each called Satoshis.
So just to absolutely clarify this, Bitcoins are being produced. They are being produced, and they are produced, am I not right in saying, by the process of Bitcoin mining? Is that correct?
Yes, every 10 minutes, new
Every
coins are
10
released in the
minutes.
ecosystem. Yeah, and
So,
that is how the miners get paid.
and that's how you,
Yeah,
so there are two
yeah,
things there. There's one, and maybe, sorry, correct me if I'm misunderstanding this, but there's one thing which is creating the coin. And if you've already got someone who has a bit of a Bitcoin, that's a good phrase, bit of a Bitcoin, and they want to send that bit of a Bitcoin to somebody else, then that has to be approved as well, which is a separate process, presumably, than creating the coin. Is that right?
yeah. It is, but it all happens at the same time. So a mining machine is both simultaneously verifying transactions, and in that process, it's also trying to find new coins. Yeah, it's kind of a
Oh,
dualistic.
okay.
It's a dualistic activity. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's a main. Okay, got it. Fantastic. So, what's so special about Easy Crypto Hunter in the way that you mine?
Well, the difference is we've spoken an awful lot about Bitcoin, and we don't mine Bitcoin. So that's
Oh,
one of the big things. So what a lot of people don't realize is, as I was saying at the beginning of the conversation, cryptocurrency as all, so Bitcoin is the first, it's the biggest, it's the most well known. Cryptocurrencies, there are technically over 2,000 of them today. Now, a lot of your listeners will think that's a lot. And you're right, it is, but they are not all currencies as we imagine them. It's a false term. Cryptocurrencies should not be called cryptocurrencies. They should really be called crypto shares or crypto tokens. The same way that we have the NASDAQ or the S&P 500, there's hundreds of companies doing hundreds of different business services, and you can buy or sell shares. That's a better way to think about this than currencies, because out of those 2,000 coins, there's maybe 20 of them trying to be forms of payment. The rest of them are for all different types of business purposes, as I previously stated. So for asset transfer of a business, of a car, of a house, of a property, medical record data, supply chain logistics. There's a lot of platform coins that run a bit like the App Store that other developers can build on top of. So the ecosystem is much, much, much broader than people realize. So quite honestly, the difference between us and other people is we're ROI focused for our clients.
so when you say ROI, I mean return on investment focus.
Return on investment focused, yeah. Primarily, that's our core focus. So a lot of people come to us saying that they want to get into crypto, they want to get into Bitcoin mining. Now, they don't really mean they want to mine Bitcoin. What they mean is they want to make some money from the sector. They just don't know that there are other ways in which to do that are vastly more profitable. So the basic logic of it is Bitcoin is now 10 years old. It's, you could have left your laptop on overnight 10 years ago mining Bitcoin, and today you'd have woken up a millionaire. But obviously, as 10 years have gone by, now the network's got bigger and bigger and bigger. It requires more and more computer power to be able to mine a coin. And now, in order to wake up with one Bitcoin overnight, you'd probably need, hundreds of thousands of pounds of equipment. So there's nothing wrong with that. And that's the way that the market's gone after this period of time, which is a good thing, by the way, because the more computers there are, the safer the network is, as you alluded to before. So it's a big advantage contrary to what people believe. But what we do is we specialize in mining or providing power to these other businesses, these other crypto token businesses, where we get provided with some coins, their tokens, as a thank you for providing power to their networks. And effectively, it's easier to earn £10 of, say, Raven coin than it is to earn £1 of Bitcoin. So considering all these tokens are completely and freely interchangeable, the same way pounds, euros, dollars, and yen are on the FX market, all the cryptocurrency tokens are completely interchangeable on cryptocurrency markets. It's better to mine the smaller coins that have a much higher multiplier upside when the markets are good, and it's much easier to get your hands on them. So we focus our energies in those areas because there are new projects, new coins, new things happening all the time, and dramatically better returns with a type of equipment which is fundamentally different to mining Bitcoin, which has a much better value proposition to the clients than a machine which is just a one-trick pony for Bitcoin.
Okay. I think what will be on listeners' minds, it's certainly on my mind, is that you've got a multiplicity of different coins, hundreds, if not thousands of different coins.
2,000.
2,000, wow.
Yeah.
So what do these coins actually do? You mentioned Raven coin. Let's take that as an example. What's its
So,
purpose? What does it
so
do?
Ravencoin is a business asset protocol. So I can go onto the Ravencoin. I can download the Ravencoin wallet today. I can get 500 Ravencoin, which is the minimum that I need to create an asset. I can then create, say, Josh's car token. I can make my own token within the Raven ecosystem. I could then give you that token, and then you would legally own my car, if we so wished for that to be the purpose of the token. Or I could create a unique product for my business, and I could give you unique product number 1 token, and you would be able to reclaim that service. It's effectively a way of making the physical assets of the modern world have a place in a blockchain system, so we can keep track of things. Maybe like, imagine like a unique sword in a game, or you could have a unique car that you kept an online record of. So it basically is a way in which you, other businesses can create assets that can be then transferred on the blockchain. So that's its purpose. When you boil it down to its absolute core, it's really very straightforward. It's just a new way of transmitting data, and we trust machines instead of a third-party entity. And to make that data move between point A and point B, it requires computer power. We sell that computer power, and whoever owns the computers get paid as a thank you. It's really that simple.
And how fast is the market growing? I mean, how many new applications are there that people are paying for that are
Hundreds
requiring?
every day. It's huge. I think a year ago we had maybe 1,000 coins. Now there's over 2,000 coins, and we'll probably have 3,000 coins before the year's out. Now you've got to remember, this is a hugely fastly growing market, and at the moment we've probably got 50 to 100 people all competing to try and do the same business service, and it's very likely as the years go by those 2,000 coins will compress. And the same way modern day companies fail because they can't compete, the same thing will happen in that space too. It's kind of a land grab at the moment for new technologies, new ideas, new things. But with that, obviously, there's an awful lot of money to be made by holding effectively, think of it like shares in these new fledgling companies that go on to be big players in the future years to come.
Okay, so perhaps you can just talk listeners through how you can help them, if you like, get a piece of this new economy by mining.
Yeah, it's that's the easy bit. So we've established that blockchain is this cool new technology. It requires computer power to make a transaction happen from point A to point B, whether that be money or data or any type of business data that's kind of floating about from two people. And in order to have that computer power, you need physical machines that do that. So we build and sell effectively very posh computers. They're made up of top-end computer graphics cards, which happen to be the physical bit of kit that make that happen. And we effectively sell them. And what the user is then able to do is, through our software, which we all install and look after and help our clients with, they don't need any coding, any programming, any language skills. All our clients are complete novices to this sector most of the time. You can end up with a product that we've now created that you plug it into a normal plug socket in the wall, you plug in a normal internet Ethernet connection, and you turn it on. And you can automatically then control the machine, point it in any direction of any of these coins that you so wish. We advise people as to which the most profitable are. And subsequently, it sits in a corner mining 24 hours a day. And as a thank you for that service, you're able to get paid every single day in those shares or tokens of the blockchain that you are providing power to, which you can, of course, then sell for cash at any point you see fit. So it sounds crazy, but we do literally sell money-making machines, and people think that's wild. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of your listeners all have businesses themselves, and probably without realizing it, they're already paying a monthly hosting fee for their websites. It's a very standard practice for everyone to pay a monthly web hosting fee for their websites. Now, what are we actually doing? We're paying a computer to perform a service for us. It's just that it's a different bit of kit performing a service to keep your website online. So it's exactly the same thing in reverse. We just sell more powerful equipment with higher yields and perform power in a bit of a different way, but fundamentally the idea remains the same.
Okay. How big is this piece of kit?
only 55 centimeters by 55, so
How big's that?
pretty small.
Can you compare it to something?
Like a computer case, a normal desktop computer size. Yeah, so you can pick it up in two hands very comfortably.
The size of a suitcase that you can put on board a Ryanair or EasyJet
Yeah,
flight.
yeah. Pretty much not too far from that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's good. Now, the big question mark in my mind is if you're not an expert at choosing which coin is going to go up or down, or which is going to be the one that's going to really sustain. If you don't know that, how can you decide what coin to pick? Who can you go to help?
Well, that's the best bit. That's what we do for our clients. So we train all our clients on how to do that for themselves. There's a couple of online websites which now make it super simple, such as basically Go Compare, the same way they do that for insurance. There's similar things for which coins to mine. So you can work it out yourself in 2 minutes flat. But we are able to manage that for our clients as well. And on top of not knowing which coin to mine, that's kind of the advantage in the fact that the bit of kit that we sell, unlike, say, a Bitcoin mining machine that specifically is built just to mine Bitcoin, it can never mine any other coins. Whereas the machines which we provide can mine, as it stands today, over 850 different coins, and that grows daily. So irrespective of which way the market goes, or this coin doing well or that coin going well, you end up with a bit of kit which is the most flexible bit of kit on the market. And that really is the thing that's very exciting. It's kind of the Swiss Army knife of the blockchain world.
Okay. So just to make this clear then, what you're saying is that you buy the kit, the hardware, and you plug it into your electricity socket.
Yep.
And then you plug it into your internet connection. Can it just be a normal internet connection?
Yep. Normal internet connection, nothing fancy needed.
Okay, fine. And once you've done that, you switch it on, you can walk away. And from what you've said, that there are all these 800 coins it could mine, but you provide a service that picks the winning coins and mines them automatically so that you don't have to worry about it. It just works. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, there's different approaches. Each client has different risk portfolios. So, you could either maybe choose to mine today's most profitable coin, so you're earning the most pounds per day. Or you could perhaps, want something a bit more high risk and mine a newer coin, which is very small, but you're earning lots and lots of coins, because in the beginning, when a coin starts, it's not worth a lot, but you're able to earn a lot of tokens for providing power to it, because they want to encourage people on their network, right? So there's different approaches that you can take with the same bit of kit. And obviously this is why there's an advantage to having scale. If you buy multiple bits of equipment, then you can be very intelligent about what you do, because you can have a few machines doing this, a few machines doing that, a few machines doing something else. Because as a matter of fact, our machines physically also happens to be the most powerful bits of kit you can get for AI, deep learning, and artificial intelligence. So now some of our clients are also being able to start getting paid for, renting their power to larger commercial industries, where these big companies now need to do all this deep data number crunching stuff as that becomes a big play of the future. Right. So effectively, it's just a very posh computer, and you can get paid for renting out its power in a multitude of ways.
So could you just repeat that bit, because it didn't come across very clearly?
It's just in a nutshell, a very powerful computer that you're able to get paid for providing power in a multitude of different ways.
What's the interface to what's going on? Do you have like a website where you can actually go and see the results?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So you could have your machine, say, in your conservatory, spare bedroom, garage, or even a warehouse in China. It doesn't matter where the machine physically is located. You can remote into your machine through going onto an online website, which we create accounts for all our clients for. And from there, you can make it change to mine any coin that you want. You can check all the temperatures. You can turn it off. You can turn it on. You can do all that type of stuff that you need to. So you don't need to plug it into a screen. It doesn't need to be in some, clinical environment in your house somewhere. It's a bit of kit that just sits there minding its own business and just does its thing every day. Just like leaving a computer on.
Sorry, say again?
It's just like leaving a computer on.
Okay. And if a reveller wants to really get into it themselves and decide which coins to mine, when to mine them, when to sell them, etc., can they do that? Can they override your system if they want to?
Well, there isn't an override. The user has fundamental control of their own equipment. That's the very premise. So we can only, we're happy to help and assist. And if, hey, Josh, we're not sure what to do this month, should we do this or that, we'll happily help you.
But you have a service, from what you said earlier on. My understanding is that you have a service as well where you take over that process because you understand.
It's all included in the price. Yeah, it's just it's in our interest for our clients to earn as much as possible. And if you're coming into this from zero knowledge, then of course you're not going to know which thing to do. So we do this full time, and effectively we, pick the ones which stand in the best chance of being in a positive place last year or next year as, time moves forward. And then we can adjust that dependent upon your risk profile moving forward.
Okay. So what are the costs involved, both in terms of hardware and I assume electricity?
So a most popular kind of rig, we call them, a mining rig, a single computer, is 8,333 plus VAT. So that's a £10,000 invoice. And then what we typically find is business owners put that through the business, get the VAT back because it's just a posh computer. You, in most cases, able to claim that as a capital asset purchase for the business. So your cost price then comes down to somewhere around £6,500. And then as you see fit, you can depreciate that unit year on year, just as posh computer equipment as you would do for any other computer purchase in the business. And then, of course, at bulk, the prices change per unit. And effectively, that's kind of how the majority of our clients do so. So
last year was the last 12 months rather, am I not right in saying, has been a pretty topsy-turvy time for cryptocurrencies. Their values have dropped and it hasn't been brilliant from what I understand. So if we take, say, the last 12 months, had you bought one of these computers a year ago, how much money would you have made to date, gross?
Well, you'd have made 91% return on investment, so not too shabby. Our clients have recorded, all of our clients that have been following us have recorded about £5,925 return, which is 91% business return, in that 12-month period from April 2018 to April 2019. And we've purposely chosen the worst 12 months in cryptocurrency's history to demonstrate those figures. Okay,
so what you're saying is you can just keep the maths kind of really simple. Let's just assume that it costs £10,000 to buy one of your computers.
Yeah, if you just paid £10,000 cash and you got no VAT, no businesses,
just keep a simple maths going.
Yeah, that's 59% return, 5,900 quid.
Okay, right. Okay. And what are your costs? Because you've got the electricity, of course.
Yeah, 70 quid a month, but that's net, so that's already after electric's been taken out.
Okay, and that assumes what price electricity? Because
13 pence a kilowatt.
13p a kilowatt. Okay, so that's kind of normal residential rate.
Normal rate, yeah.
Right. Exactly. And if somebody wants to get involved in this in a large sort of way, how do you scale this up? Supposing I know there are some revelers who are in the energy business, and supposing one of them says, right, I've got a mate who's got a farm, and on that farm are a whole mass of solar panels, and could you put a large installation close to the electricity source, which is sustainable and therefore I assume cheaper, and do it that way and make even more of a return?
Well, it's not a case of could you, it's a case of how quick can you, because that's what the largest demographic of our clients are now doing. We're working very closely with hydro, electric, solar, wind, anaerobic digesters, and instead of talking in terms of ROI numbers we've just discussed, their number is how much pence am I earning per kilowatt of energy that I generate. So classically speaking, most people are tied into contracts between 4 to 8 pence per kilowatt. So they generate electric and sell it back to the grid, typically for a fixed fee between those two figures. If you run those numbers backwards per the amount of kilowatts that was consumed by the machine, that number is well above 40 pence per kilowatt. So we're now working with the energy sector very closely. In fact, I'm keynoting up in Glasgow next week at the All Energy Expo, because we have now created an entirely new revolution in the energy market, because we've now got a method of creating revenue 10 times that of existing systems, that's completely independent of government subsidy or anything independent than the farmer or energy producer themselves. So it's becoming an extremely attractive play for people in those sectors moving forward.
Okay, great. I think that's pretty much all we have time for now, Josh. So can I just say thank you very much for coming on, and I look forward to seeing you on the 12th of June. And listeners, if you've got any questions for Josh which you want to have answered before the event, send me an email, david@revellersclub.com, and yeah, we'll see if we can get you answered. It'd be good to do that, because the more ground we cover before the event, the more valuable the event will be. Okay, so everybody, thank you very much indeed for listening. Josh, thank you very much indeed, and look forward to seeing you on the 12th.
No problem. Thank you very much, David.